So you've been an entrepreneur from last 30 plus years. So what has changed from that time to this time?
Young people are not afraid to take risks. Before you think of becoming an entrepreneur, please find a problem you can solve. It is very important. How are you really going to make money?
Hello everyone, welcome to the another exciting episode of TVS Guide Fireside. I am Archana, your host for the series, and I am very excited to have you join us with us today. In the last episode, we talked with Rajesh Jain about critical topics like data, technology, and complex terminologies like genetic AI and much more. So without further ado, let's jump right in. Hello sir, welcome to the show.
Hello Arjuna, nice to be here.
So there's one more question that I want to ask. So you've been an entrepreneur from last 30 plus years. So what has changed from that time to this time?
So I started my entrepreneurial journey in 92, and there were two things which I remember from that time. First is everyone who could, of course, wanted to go to the US, and second is the default was a job. There were no funds available. You would not even think of entrepreneurship. If I had not seen my father as an entrepreneur, I probably also would have followed the same path. I think now young people are not afraid to take risks. Failure is not looked down upon. The only thing is that many times what I see is everyone thinks of, oh, I want to be an entrepreneur as a fashionable thing. And my advice to everyone is, before you think of becoming an entrepreneur, please find a problem you can solve. Either which you have experienced yourself, or where you have talked with 20 people and know that if you solve the problem for them, there are lots of others who are with the same problem. Otherwise, the ventures don't have a high chance of success. But irrespective, I think the fact that in today's India, it is possible to raise capital, failure is not seen as the sort of end of the road for people, I think is great. But the challenges which are there in India can only be solved through entrepreneurship. And there is great innovation happening in technology. AI will change a lot of businesses and industries. Quantum computing will come up. Opportunities like space are opening up. Biotech is another great industry which is there. And a wide array of opportunities are open for young people. And they should definitely look at entrepreneurship where you know the problem. So fall in love with the problem, not the solution. It's the title of a very nice book.
Yeah.
Okay. And if they can do that, definitely they should go on the track of becoming an entrepreneur.
That's a great advice, sir. Like falling in the love of the problem, not the solution. Yeah. So we have like a lot of books surrounded by us. Like how many books have you read actually out of these books that are there?
I've probably read maybe 10% of the books, but I buy a lot of books. My logic is that for 700 rupees, you get the author's lifetime of wisdom. It's like the ultimate teaching experience. The cost is not the 700 rupees. The cost is your time that you have to invest in reading the book. So my approach to reading is buy a lot of books, read a few chapters, pages. Sometimes if you like, read the whole book. I mean, most books have, if you read the first and the last chapter, they give you a gist of the book and then you decide. Also, another thing I found is when I'm facing challenges, difficulties, even when I just pick up a book and start reading, sometimes the answers come, because it just absorbs you in the writing and it distracts you from your current scenario, but it also makes you think differently.
Nice. That's a great piece of advice actually. I'll take it with me. And you have mentioned about the writing as well, like writing blogs every day. So why do you do it? Like how do you manage that time as well in your busy day-to-day schedule?
I actually have my blog at rajeshjain.com.
Yeah.
So I cheat a little bit. I publish every day, but I write on weekends.
Okay.
Because then I get my contiguous time on Saturday and Sunday mornings typically for doing my writing. But I publish every day so that I want the blog to become a utility in people's lives. So they come back every day. It's like a newspaper. It's about 500, 600 words a day. And I've been doing this for almost 20 plus years, except for a short time in between when I've taken a few years when I've taken a break. I write because writing helps clarify one's own thinking. And I write for myself. I don't do on LinkedIn or Twitter or any of these things. I write for myself, but I publish it publicly. But that also makes it a discipline of writing regularly. And because I have to write, I have to keep reading. So that cycle, that flywheel
Mm-hmm.
starts to come into play.
Nice.
And I've seen this time and again. Once I start writing, especially on, say, in the early mornings when it's dark, you get into a zone and the ideas just start flowing. So on an empty Word document, and you fill it up. Many times I realize, I'd never thought like this when I started writing. It takes on a life of its own. And that's why I think people should write, especially entrepreneurs, because they also have to communicate their ideas to other people.
It's good to know, sir. Like having clarity of thoughts. You mentioned about your entrepreneurship journey initially. So, what were the challenges you faced during your second company, that is Netcore? So, can you please explain those parts as well?
So, Netcore had a different problem. So, I had sold India World, and after that, I thought that whatever I would do would succeed. The first almost 8-9 years of Netcore were very difficult years. We did not grow. I tried a lot of ideas in that period, probably 10-15 ideas, but none of them got any traction in the market. And then a friend of mine said, Rajesh, you are the problem in the company. You do not have the ability to commercialize these ideas. You should stick with ideas, but do not try to run the business. Get a CEO who can then take these ideas to market. And in fact, that was probably the best advice I got. In 2007, in Netcore, I hired my first CEO. Very different from me, came from a sales background, came from a media background, Abhijit Saxena. And he and then Girish Nair and now Kalpit Jain, they have basically helped build Netcore through the years. Because I like to stay in my world of ideas and futuristic products, but eventually one has to also make money from the product, otherwise the company dies. And that is best left to the experts, in this case the CEOs who have run Netcore.
Actually, this thing is very important, having that self-awareness or leadership maturity, like knowing when to step back and giving controls to the other people for better good. It's really very important, and I think a lot of people struggle with this thing.
Yeah, in fact, if you set aside your ego, then a lot of things become easy in life.
Yeah. Sir, I was reading about journey and about Netcore and about everything. I did not find that you have ever raised any fund. So is it true, or why is it like that?
Yeah, so both India World and Netcore are proficons, in the sense both are bootstrapped, both were profitable and they scaled, because otherwise there is no other way to reinvest the profits. You have to either get from external sources or have to be profitable to invest for expansion. It's not that I haven't tried to raise money. I have tried multiple times in my life. But one of the core things is that because we were always profitable, I was under no pressure to take in investors or to take people whom I thought would not be able to help or add value to the business, or could not give me the valuation that I wanted. I think for entrepreneurs, the profitability part, I think sometimes gets missed out in their chase for continuous growth. In fact, I believe that even when starting a venture, every entrepreneur should create a path to profitability. Eventually, profits are the oxygen for a business. Till a few years ago, maybe people thought they could continuously raise venture capital, but that world does not exist now. So it is very important. How are you really going to make money? And money will be made when your customers pay you things for products that you're selling and your costs are less than what the revenues you're generating. That's how you become profitable. So the business model cannot be that I will keep raising capital from outside. So I think a path to profitability becomes very, very important. And I think entrepreneurs must pay attention to this angle.
That's a great piece of advice, sir. And I think every young entrepreneur should learn from this and should take away a lot from this advice. And to all our listeners, I hope that this episode has sparked new ideas and new inspiration. So make sure to subscribe and don't forget to follow us on social media. Until next time, keep chasing your dreams and pushing boundaries. This is Archana signing off from Fireside Chat by TVS Credit.